Hi everyone, today we're going to go over a comparison between our masonry stains and our Sol-Silicate, so stay tuned. So let's start with the masonry stain. It's based on potassium silicate, or known as water glass, which in comparison to the Sol-Silicate, it's the same ingredient, except the Sol-Silicate has less of it, and then we add silica among other proprietary ingredients to kind of give it a hybrid stain, if you will. So the difference is the masonry stain is not really suitable for drywall on the interior because it's previously painted, and it's not going to be suitable on hardy boards because factory hardy, even if it's primed and not painted, you're going to have an acrylic primer that's existing. So for that reason, the masonry stain will have limitations on interior drywall and on cement fiber boards that have been previously primed. For that reason, when we do a lot of projects in Chicago on the service side, we run into a lot of buildings that are previously painted. And so the masonry stain is going to have a tough time latching onto that paint because it's just too alkaline and it has too much water glass. Simply put, the water glass is just going to crumble after a while. So by adding silica, it's going to give it more durability and flexibility even when you apply it over latex or acrylic paint. With the hardy board, since it's self-primed, factory, for that reason, masonry stain is going to have a limitation. Now with Sol-Silicate, we could still get proper binding to the acrylic primer, and the advantage of using a Sol-Silicate on the hardy board is it's going to be UV stable, it's going to be breathable, it's going to have a pH of 11, so it's alkaline, meaning mildew and algae will not grow. And if you all caught a few of our videos ago, we actually torched this board. This is the same identical hardy board. You'll notice a few discolorations. Now this board was torched for almost a minute, going back and forth, and it just shows you that if the hardy catches on fire, the particle board itself, after I believe 600 degrees, is going to start combusting according to hardy standards. Our stains could actually go up to 2,000. So you'll notice you have a little bit of discoloration, but the board was not really damaged, nor was the stain. If this was paint, it would start to bubble up, and it would also disintegrate after a while. So the cool component is, when it comes to cement fiber boards, is also if, God forbid, the house or building catches on fire, our colorants are non-combustible, and neither is water glass. So that's the biggest comparison between the Sol-Silicate and the masonry stain. Both can be used outside on brick and mortar and all sort of masonry substrates. However, the Sol-Silicate is going to be the winner when it comes to cement fiber boards and interior drywall. The other thing with Sol-Silicates that we recommend, it gives it it has at least an extra 15 minutes of drying time, which means streaking will be more preventable and it's going to give you more room for error. So for instance, like this espresso color, if you do a slight touch-up after a couple minutes, you may not see it on the Sol-Silicate. On the masonry stain, it's going to be a little bit more delicate. So the other thing to think about is masonry stain and Sol-Silicate, they look and they work exactly the same way, except the Sol-Silicate dries 15 minutes more or less slower, giving you flexibility for room for error, and then it's a little bit more flexible in the event you have any brick that's been painted before. It's going to bind better to the actual surface. For that reason, the Sol-Silicate is going to be a little bit more expensive because we have to put more raw materials into the hybrid product, as we call it, versus the masonry stain. Thank you so much for attending this video. Should you have any other questions, please reach out to us. info@mineralstains.com.